Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I call it sobering up because the markets had one heck of a party here, a holiday type party, I guess, November and December. And when you take a look at the statistics here, this lady works for the Wall Street Journal. I don't want to try to pronounce her name because I'll probably abuse it. But she put out this post this last week and it talked about the record inflows into the ETFs in the month of December. And if you remember, there's a video I put out mid-December, actually on December 16th. It was titled All In. I'd say that was pretty accurate. That everybody was all in, and we'll see what kind of sobering up process we're about to go through, and we've kind of started that this last week. The Dow Industrials, not so much. The Dow was only down 228 points, kind of just a minor little pullback in here. We'll see what's up with that over the next couple of weeks. The S&P down 73 points, and the NASDAQ 100, which was the worst performer here. They're hitting those magnificent seven stocks pretty well. At least they're starting to. And of course, Apple was the worst one, I guess. The NDX was down 522 points. When we take a look at the industrials versus the transports, that little head and shoulders pattern, it's not so little actually, still seems to be playing out. It's starting to come down. Second week in a row in here after that little doji candle the week of December 17th. So we'll see if we continue to get a move down. It took about 7 weeks to go from the peak over here to this point right here on March 18th. So we're talking about in the spring. From February 2nd, I guess, was when that was the February 2nd peak. And then we had that banking issue that went on, okay, with the Silicon Valley Bank, I think it was, SVB, that went under, and a couple others that were having issues. So yeah, that was all of this in the spring. So we'll see what we get here over the next few weeks. Okay, so that is the picture there. Let's take a look at, I want to take a look at the SPY and focus on the SPY this weekend. I'm also going to look at semiconductors and take a look at silver also and a couple of indicators. So here's the SPY. It was up 64 cents on Friday. And is that right? Yeah, that's right. There were of the four major indices: the industrials, the S&P, the NASDAQ 100, and the Russell. The only one that was negative was the Russell 2000. And again, all of them very slight moves. So again, up 0.64 on the S&P, down $7.34 for the week. So the picture I've got on the SPY for the Elliott Wave picture is a continuation. I've talked about this, that the B wave, I believe, has topped out. We will see if we get confirmation of that over the next several weeks. I think this ABC move, this WXY, complex double zigzag, WXY, Y looks like it's finished with the ABC move here. And I have modified this wave count in the C wave to have it more in sync with what I'm seeing in the NASDAQ 100 in the Qs. An extended first wave, then a very abbreviated fifth wave. And this works because the rule is the third wave can never be the shortest wave. So again, the risk is that maybe we have something where it's wave 1, wave 2 here, some kind of wave 3, and a bigger wave 4. I guess that's always a possibility, but I'm going to stay with this as my primary count right now, and we'll see if we continue to get this to come down, take out the lows. We're seeing a lot of things in terms of indicators, etc., that indicate that the market is very, very vulnerable right now. So that's the picture I've got on the SPY. Let's take a look at the SOX, and I want to go. And I'm using the SOX because my data is not complete. It got messed up when the SPY, when SMH did a split. and my data provider would not adjust, and it just really irritated me. So I'm going to stay with the SOX. So here's what's going on with the SOX index. So for the week, down 34.26. And the reason I'm focusing on semiconductors right now, this weekend, is because it was the weakest. SMH, when I look at all the ETFs in my ETF dashboard, SMH was the weakest of 16 sectors. It was down 5% on the week. And actually, the SOX was down 5.9%, up 299 on Friday. But look at the move that happened during the week. And here's what happened during the week, down 34.26. So yeah, it looks like they're really hitting it pretty good. And when I look at this, I'm counting it similar in terms of a WXY. And I think we got this big ABC. And I think we had a little throw over the top of the channel of this weekly channel for the zigzag. Okay, so that's what I'm watching to see. Again, you know, you look at this and say, well, this is looks like the highest probability path and count. We'll see if we continue to get wave confirmation that confirms the scenario. That's all you can do. Okay, so right now, that's the way it looks on the SOX. And, you know, it looks weak. Now, maybe it's going to bounce a little bit more, but right now it looks like it's rolling over pretty well. Okay, that's the semiconductors. Let's take a look at a couple of indicators. And of course, a lot of you probably look at the VIX. Here's the daily, weekly. It's really interesting. Let me focus on the daily for a minute. I had this little trend line drawn here, potential little head and shoulders pattern down at the bottom. And it was really interesting that on Friday, the high had opened up and it moved and went right to that trend line. This trend line had been drawn for days and went right to the trend line and pulled back down. Now, what I'm watching also is this is the fourth day in a row above the 10-day moving average. Yeah, I did it over here too, 4 days in a row above the 10, then it broke down below. So the key is, do we get any kind of continuation here? Do we get a close above this trend line? Does it start to pop and continue to push to the upside? Now, when we're looking at the breadth of the market, let me pull up the McClellan oscillator. Well, what I've got on here is the summation index. And it has, to start off with anyway, it looks like it's rolling over and it's starting to trend to the downside. Could be very much like what has happened back, you know, August of 22 and February of 23, and then right here in July, August of last year. So we'll see if we get continuation. And again, the summation index is kind of a cumulative of the McClellan oscillator, and the oscillator never confirmed that move of November, December. Never confirmed it. The indices moved higher, and the oscillator just continued to trend lower. And now we've broken down below the zero level, and we are sitting at a minus 92. So we're oversold. We're just not extremely oversold. Okay, so that's where we sit with the McClellan oscillator. The breadth of the market was fairly neutral on Friday. All right, I want to take a look at silver because this is really pretty interesting. Let me pull it up. So I tracked 5 different commodity ETFs in my ETF dashboard, and silver was the weakest one this last week, down 2.6%. So you could see, and I'm talking about SLV. So you could see it was up 13 cents on Friday, down 57 cents for the week. Okay, this little trend line was broken on Thursday. So we don't really know yet, was this a fake out or really was it a substantial break? Now we got this pullback on Friday. It all came very close to closing this gap that was here that was created on Wednesday. And then it just sold back down. So we'll see what happens here Monday, Tuesday of this coming week. But, you know, right now, my Elliott Wave count, I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. I've been in sync with gold trying to say, well, I think this is trying to move higher. But I tell you, in terms of a third wave of a third wave of a third wave, it's not acting like it. Now, it may still get, you know, its act together and move higher in here. But right now, it's kind of giving me doubts. Now, here's the thing. If this continues to come down, let me go back to that Elliott Wave count. If this continues to come down and take out this low, then I'm moving to the bearish count that says this thing is more in a bear mode, still working its way down in this type of scenario. Okay. So, but right now, that's an alternate. Right now, I'm staying with the bull count and watching to see if this thing is going to continue to push or is it going to break down. Okay, that's where we sit with silver and with the SPY and the semiconductors. Losing my voice. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like more of this information on a regular basis, head on over to joehenches.net, check out the website, and check out the membership. Everyone have a great rest of the weekend and have a great week.